Hey, this is Irvin Griffin. It's been a long time since I discussed a subject like this because I've actually deliberately stayed away from it. But I'll say this, JayeDaBlack, I don't agree with everything he has to say. But I will say this, he does bring up some good points here and there. And one of the things I do agree with him on is guys, well, women too, who are so hung up, who will try to shame you from dating someone else that's not of your race. Quite frankly, the majority of them are weirdos. First of all, what is a hotep? A hotep is supposed to be someone who's of African descent, who is actually a wise and thoughtful human being. Now, that might have been true back in the day. That might have even been true in the 50s and 60s. But the hoteps of today are basically just hustlers. I know some people call them hotep hustlers, and we can name them. I mean, you got this image here of, obviously, so-called Dr. Umar Johnson. But you can name a whole lot of them. But let's just call them what they are. They're hustlers. They've read enough books from people who were real pro-blacks, real hoteps. They read enough books to be dangerous. And quite honestly, the only thing these guys are after is, number one, money. And two, and I'm talking strictly of the men here, but, some of the women probably fall into this too. Basically, they're only after some Bushu or some for JJ. Or in the case of the women, they're probably after some PP. But they're mainly after money. And one thing JayeDaBlack, in one of his videos, he discussed Carrie Champions, talked about how easier it was to date white men. And in one of her guests, one of the people on the panel even talked about when she lived in New York City, when she went natural hair. This was a sister and everything. The only black dudes that would talk to her were the ones who were basically the hoteps, the shea butter dudes. And she was like, I wasn't interested in them. And Carrie Champion did ask why. And she was like, they were just jokes to me. And really, they just, really, in a way, both Carrie Champion and this other sister basically clowned you guys. Because really, there was a time maybe guys like this were the only options. But with social media and with ways to date these days, you guys aren't the only options now. And these women know it. And I would say men should know it too. But getting back on point, that video kind of made me chuckle, because I was like, yeah, you guys just got clowned, basically. And all you guys talk about, oh, you need to be dating the black woman, you a black man, and such. Here's my counter. And you might have heard me say this if you followed my videos over the past few years. I'm on code with those that are on code with me. And to be honest, I've dated both black and white women. And there's not really that much difference other than skin tone. But one thing I will say, with a couple of exceptions, most of my better relationships, whether it was just friends with benefits or a serious relationship, was actually with the white women. Strangely enough, because I'm not this swaggy dude. I don't come out like I'm alpha male. I don't be out there with my chest out pounding it and because to me that's so goofy and stupid. I mean, if you got the confidence, it'll show. And if you're really working towards something and you got the confidence and everything, let me tell you something. I mean, there's nothing wrong with talking to women. But I see a lot of these guys, they talk to anything that's breathing. And trust and believe, as much as they talk about need to be with a black woman, with a real sister and this and that. Let me tell you something. If Jennifer Aniston, and I'm just picking a famous white woman just out of the blue, just random. If Jennifer Aniston from Friends was to come rolling up on them, acting like they was interested, especially if nobody was looking, they gonna be taking her blonde hair behind somewhere and be like, hey, what's up, and this and that. And I listened to another video of JayeDaBlack's where he discussed a guy who talked about he broke up with his white girlfriend of about 6 months, about a year, I forgot how long. Mostly because she was white, but he also revealed it was mainly because he got tired of people clowning him for being with her. And here's what I say to that. Screw them. And I'm being polite when I use that terminology, because I could actually be more colorful. You know what? Most of the ones that are trying to shame somebody from not dating someone just because they from a different race, usually this person was probably attractive. Both of them. He probably was attractive, and she definitely was attractive. Like, if she was an ugly white woman, no one would care. They think they'd be clowning him for getting with an ugly white woman. But she probably was attractive, and that probably got in their crawl. But here's what I've come to learn just from my own personal experience. Most black women that say that will never date you. They will never date you. They will never even come look in your direction unless they want something. Haters like that. And likewise, I would say that even to white people that want to date somebody of a different race. Most of the haters from your people, it's the same. No, ain't no probably. It is the same thing. It's the same thing. Most of them either want to date you and just want to get rid of the competition, or that other person is probably handsome, virile, successful, or in the case of, let's say, the white man concerning a different race of woman, she's probably attractive, probably got a lot of things going for her, and they probably never would have hollered at you ever, but they don't want to see you win. It's kind of like, if I can quote an interview, it was in character, but there's some truth to it. In his prime heyday, Nature Boy Ric Flair once said, people don't mind seeing you doing pretty good, but they don't like seeing you doing better than them. And there's some truth to that. Like, if I'm with an average looking, I'm going to use myself for example. If I decide to date an average looking white woman, probably not too many people would say they might try to clown me about it. But let her be an extraordinary looking. And I'm going to pick one that I consider extraordinary looking, even now in her 40s. The female wrestler Trish Stratus. If I was to walk down the street with her and we be just jiving and everything, not really caring about we're different races, I would get so much hate and stuff. And most of it would be from the ones that would never date me, would never even give me a kiss on the cheek, let alone date me or give me any booty or anything. But they want to have something to say about my love life. You know what I mean? And to be honest, people, and usually it's only a handful of individuals, but they try to make it seem like the collective are thinking that way, when the collective probably wasn't even thinking about the fact that you're dating somebody different. Probably wasn't even thinking about it until those few brought it up. So I would say at the end of the day, do you? I mean, that's what I would say at the end of the day. You can't pay these hoteps or right-wingers or whoever ever someone claims to be, or leftists, whatever. You can't really pay these haters no mind. And I've even confessed this to my peeps in Club Atlantic. Yeah, that's what we call ourselves. Myself, Prince GMO, this young guy named Laurel, and of course Nature Girl 30. That's what we call ourselves. I've even admitted, if I wasn't so insecure about I have to be with a black woman in my younger years, I probably already would have been married. Probably would have already had a kid or two by now. You know, maybe it would have went right, maybe it would have went wrong, but it probably would have happened because there were a couple of pretty good looking white women back in the day that tried to holler at me. But I just never showed any interest. And I never said the reason why, but a lot of it was because they were white. And I was a black dude. And I thought, you have to be with a black woman. Even though the black women, most of them, were not showing me any love at all. They were going around with these other dudes who they let fast talk them into saying, oh, Irvin, he ain't nothing, man. He corny, man. He be talking to himself. Oh, he goofy. And have them going along with this narrative with no real proof or no evidence whatsoever. In which that's another subject that I could talk about, but I'll save that for another time. But the women that was showing me any interest or love, I actually was not hollering at, even though I should have been. And the ones that I want to holler at wasn't showing me jack at all. You know, and that's my mistake. And that's the mistake I hope anyone listening to this video, especially my men, and particularly my black men, I hope y'all don't make that mistake. Anyway, that's all I got to say on this. I'm out.